This is Korea News for March 4, 2022. Until yesterday, TV조선 and 조선일보 conducted the last possible public opinion poll for this election. Of course, as the situation changed last night, the effect of unifying the opposition candidates was not reflected. Still, there are many interesting topics. In the multilateral confrontation, the survey revealed that the gap between candidate Yun and candidate Lee was wider. In a poll conducted over the past 2 days on the 1st and 2nd, candidate Lee received 33.8% and candidate Yun received 40.1%. On the other hand, a famous British betting company, Smarket, predicts that Yun's chances of winning are high. On March 2nd, Smarket announced that candidate Yun had a 64.99% chance of winning and Lee had a 45.30% chance of winning. Early voting for the 20th presidential election will be held on the 4th and 5th. Advance voting, which will be held prior to the main voting on March 9th, can be held at any polling place nationwide from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., regardless of where you live, as long as you bring your ID card, such as a resident registration card. As the election is being held amid the rapid spread of the coronavirus, the National Election Commission is encouraging voters to vote in advance so that they do not lose their right to vote due to an unexpected corona infection. Opposition parties and candidates all mean the same thing. Democratic Party candidate Lee Jae-myung will vote in Seoul during the campaign, and People's Strength candidate Yun Seok-yeol will hold early voting in Busan. The importance of early voting this time is highlighted because of the spread of the coronavirus. In recent years, the number of confirmed coronavirus cases is around 200,000 per day. In the remaining election period alone, more than 1 million new cases could be confirmed. Voting is allowed for corona-confirmed patients from 5 o'clock to 6 p.m. on the 5th, the second day of early voting, and from 6 o'clock to 7:30 on the 9th, the main voting day. However, due to the short voting time, it is easy to miss it. In a situation where the opposition and opposition candidates are in fierce competition, the absence of hundreds of thousands of votes can change the outcome of the election. Neither side wants it. You can prevent this by voting in advance when you are not infected with the coronavirus. It is said that there are concerns among some people that the management of advance voting is poor and there may be election irregularities. However, the battle and ballot counting process is monitored by opposition observers and the Gongmyong election observer, and they accompany them when moving the ballot box. A 24-hour CCTV and security guard system are in operation at the ballot box storage area. That's why opposition candidates are also urging them to don't worry and vote in advance. There should be no case where the people cannot exercise their precious one vote due to the coronavirus. Early voting is the best way. As the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases surged, by 9 p.m. on the 3rd, there were already over 240,000 new confirmed cases. This is the highest number since the outbreak of COVID-19 in Korea. According to the quarantine authorities and each local government, including the Seoul Metropolitan Government, a total of 244,889 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed in 17 cities and provinces across the country from midnight to 9 p.m. on the same day. In a situation where the number of corona patients is rapidly increasing, the government has announced an adjustment plan to ease social distancing. The content of the relaxed adjustment plan is that from March 4, the business hours of 12 multi-use businesses, including restaurants and cafes, which are currently allowed until 10 p.m., will be extended by 1 hour from tomorrow to the 20th. However, the limit of 6 people will remain as it is. Initially, the government decided to apply the current social distancing measures until the 13th, but considering the fact that the fatality rate is not high compared to the spread of the Omicron mutation, the recent increase itself is slowing, and the socio-economic damage is large, it is necessary to ease it early. Decided with. The Consumer Price Index rose 3.7% last month, continuing the upward trend for the 5th consecutive month. The price of industrial products, including petroleum, is on the rise, and the prices of food and beverages have also jumped, recording the highest rise in 13 years. According to the consumer price trend for February announced by the National Statistical Office on the 4th, the Consumer Price Index for last month was 105.30, up 3.7% from the same month of the previous year. After recording 3.2% in October of last year, the consumer price inflation rate rose to the 3% level for the 5th consecutive month. Geopolitical risks are escalating with the invasion of Ukraine at the end of last month, and inflation is expected to continue high in March. Samsung Electronics decided to provide a performance priority option because of the controversy over the game performance degradation of the new Galaxy S22 model. Samsung Electronics has issued an official position on GOS, a game optimization service that has recently been controversial in relation to the latest flagship smartphone Galaxy S22. Instead of making GOS mandatory, it is about providing consumers with a performance priority option. On the 4th, Samsung Electronics recently announced through Samsung members, "We will implement a software update that provides a performance option in the Game Booster Lab in the Game Launcher app as soon as possible." Samsung Electronics explained that these measures were to meet the needs of various customers recently. GOS is a service that provides a resource optimization function in devices such as smartphones when running games, but GOS applied to the Galaxy S21 series and One UI 4.1 version was applied in a mandatory way. GOS is a function that has been applied to prevent overheating that can occur when running high-end games. However, in the case of the Galaxy S22, the method for users to bypass GOS was also blocked. Some users pointed out that the performance of the game app is too low in GOS mandatory mode. Regarding GOS, Samsung Electronics said, "It is a built-in app that optimizes CPU and GPU performance to prevent excessive heat when playing for a long time." Samsung Electronics said, "We are continuously collecting customer opinions to expand user options and provide optimal performance." Said. Standard & Poor's S&P, a US-based international credit rating agency, further downgraded Russia's sovereign credit rating and kept its outlook negative, suggesting that Russia's sovereignty is imminent. On the 3rd, S&P downgraded the credit ratings of long-term Russian dollar-denominated government bonds and ruble-denominated government bonds to CCC from BB+ and BBB, respectively. In S&P's credit rating, BBB is the lowest among investment grades, BB is one level lower than BBB, and CCC is 8 levels lower than BB+, meaning impending default with little chance of recovery. S&P also kept the outlook for Russia's sovereign credit rating negative. S&P estimated that Russia's foreign exchange reserves had been cut in half due to international sanctions. Putin's gamble on Ukraine's invasion has been hailed as a complete failure. As Russia's invasion of Ukraine enters the 8th day, world-class scholars and foreign and security experts are evaluating that Russian President Putin's gamble is becoming self-evident. Even a Chinese scholar who has shown a pro-Russian position said, "Considering politics, military, and diplomacy as a whole, achieving Russia's goals is very complicated and difficult." As the Cold War-level confrontation between camps prolongs, there is also the possibility that the arms race will intensify. Israeli historian Yuval Harari, a professor at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, told The Guardian on the 28th of last month that Putin may win the battle, but the war has already been lost. He said. Putin has been lying, saying, "Ukraine is not a real country and the people of Ukraine are longing for Russian rule. The people of Ukraine are resisting with all their might, receiving support from all over the world," he said. Professor Harari also said, "The Russian invasion is awakening people around the world." He said, "We need ammunition, not evacuation," referring to Ukrainian President Zelensky and a Ukrainian citizen who stood in front of a Russian tank. "This war will determine the future of the whole world," he said. Thank you for watching today. Please like and subscribe.